Welcome, folks. We're going to tap into our inner balance today, beginning on the floor, moving up to that evenness between our feet, our different sides, and then some single leg challenges as well. But we're actually going to begin to tap into our breath lying down. So let's immediately recline on the mat and come into your little refuge that you have at home, your space, your yoga studio. So come on to your back and just place props aside. Ease yourself on to the mat. Just keep the feet evenly hip width apart as you do that, and spread the toes as you go down. Curl the spine down to the mat. Ease yourself, and then take the hands to the back of the head, the skull. And here we are reclining. Again, let's come into our yoga space and our yoga mindset. So let's take one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart, and close the eyes, feeling our body in space, our back of the body on the floor, and just noticing the breath. No judgment on the breath. We're simply exploring the autonomic breathing that carries us through every day. The breath that we're born with, that we carry with us all the time, of course, it changes quality as the moments go by. So just notice how your breath is behaving right now. Still the mind. The mind is usually on a path to find something to attach to. Let's see if we can calm our minds to a focus, a focal point, which is the breath. Luxuriate in that feeling, in the sensation of the breath in your hands. And allow one arm to drop down to the floor and then the other with the palms up. You can keep the knees bent, and you can put those knees together with the feet wider apart. And as we invite in more breath, let's begin to notice the right and the left side, the balance between both sides. Maybe one side of the body has a little more tension than the other. Maybe one side of the body makes more effort than the other. So allow your breath to be that visual aid to your inner eye, to noticing the body. Particularly balancing out the right and the left. And then on our continued path of conscious breath, let's just take our mind's eye to the breath on one side. So if we can imagine breathing in the inhale only through the right nostril, and allowing the breath to take a path to that third eye between the eyebrows. And then on the exhale, the breath will go out of the left nostril. They were just visualizing this. And then on the next inhale, the inhale will come, visualize it coming in the left nostril, taking that pause at the third eye, and then out the right nostril. And continue this pattern. It's rather a triangular pattern, coming in through one nostril, pausing at the third eye to calm the mind, and then exhaling out the left nostril. And as you take some paths through this cycle, notice if this has an effect on the mind or effect on your body as you square off the breath, evening it out. In this case, triangulating the breath in a good way. All towards the peak of that third eye. A few more rounds of breath here. Allowing a few more cycles, as this is our gateway to the physical practice, the support behind it, the breath. And as you balance the breath, perhaps you can bring into your awareness some other balance that you might want in your day-to-day life. Just keep that manifestation, that awareness and intention in your awareness as we go forward. A nice long exhale. And then we can come to our autonomic breath and allow one leg to stretch out to a flexed foot, a nice long right leg, then a nice long left leg on the mat. Pressing through the base of the feet, just noticing that you're using all four corners of the feet, spreading the toes in our Supta Tadasana. So this is mountain pose on the floor. Noticing the horizontal line, the center of the body. So we're really trying to orbit around that center. You can even take the fingertips to the third eye, to that midpoint of the forehead in between our eyebrows, and then trace a line down the face, down the center, past the throat, down to the sternum. And here we have the sternum, the heart space. So just the fingertips are just lightly touching there to trace this line down the center. Allow the fingertips to drift to the sternum and then to the base of the ribs where they begin to separate. So here's where we get more parity between right and left, separating out in those different directions. And then down towards the navel, and then down towards the pelvis to the base of the torso. So just draw that line, and then the fingertips come back up towards the navel, keeping those feet flexed. Let's take the fingertips out to the hip points, so those hip bones sticking up. So we're separating across the abdominal line to those hip bones, and just noticing where the hip bones are in space as you flex the feet. Press the ankles gently into the earth and feel that lift, and maybe some toning through the glutes as you do that. And then exhale, we'll take the feet out to the side, and you can feel under your fingertips how the hip bones respond. So we have some flexibility in that pelvis that'll open up, and our sacroiliac joint responds in that back body. So just trace along the hip points, taking your fingertips along up and down, giving a nice little massage there. Excellent. So we have a physical awareness of our center now and of that right and left landmarks on either side. Let's transition to raising the arms next to the ears and really feeling that length of the body draping on the floor. So we really releasing the back body. Inhale all the way to the fingertips and the toes simultaneously. And then exhaling, you can slowly bend the knees and wrap your arms around the shins. So you can feel the air squeeze out of that exhale. And then inhale, keeping everything even, reach out in that length. Exhale, round those arms towards the shins and hug in. And then one more expansive, drawing outward. And then exhale, curling in. So we're squeezing the air out. And then reach out long again. Take the right hand to the left wrist. And let's see if we can flex those feet again and lean over, just scooch over towards the right. So we're taking a reclined side stretch, keeping your gaze upward. And then back, let's take this to the neutral spine, and then we'll take our left hand to the right wrist and lean over, lengthening the right side. Excellent. Come back to center and just feeling that stretch. Exhale, the arms next to the body, roll onto your left side. And we're going to take that upper arm and just use that as a pillow for the left ear. Flex the feet, and we're going to take our back of the skull and see if we can align that with the base of the spine, the sacrum. Take one hand in front of you just to balance. That's fine. Bend the right knee and bend that leg into a right angle. So just reach with your tailbone towards the base of your mat and notice that toning that comes into the glutes, and then also that you could feel the stretch on the front body. Feel free to reach back for your right foot with the right hand, but for a little balance here. But if you prefer to just keep that at a right angle, you can do that too. Take the right hand in front of you, inhale the right knee towards the chest, take your hand to the shin or the back of the thigh, and just see if you can rotate that hip so that the knee is going up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring the knee down, and then take it back to that quad stretch. And follow your path of breath here as you open up to that hip stretch, going up, and then back to the quad stretch as we rotate the ball and socket of the hip, right? That right hip. Nice and easy early in the practice. And then come on up and then back. Excellent. Let's come onto the belly as we come through center. And we'll take the forehead to the mat, the hands beside the shoulders. Let's see if we can even things out. Again, that awareness of that line of the spine that draws that beautiful line towards the heels. Point that tailbone like an arrow towards the heels. Take the elbows to the ribs, and then pulling back with your hands, you're going to peel up into our baby cobra, keeping the gaze soft, and then come on down to the third eye, and then peel it up again with your inhale, keeping a balanced breath, and then back down to our cobra, and then on up. And then down again, and then we can just roll onto the right side. And take that same pillow effect with your right arm, bend the elbow, take your left hand in front of you. Let's find some evenness here as we stand on those feet, our reclined Buddha here. So feel the length all the way down to the toes and to the base of your feet, all four corners, spread the toes, and then bend the left knee, keeping it even with the right. Just a right angle with your left knee, so that geometry there. If you feel like reaching back for the foot, you can do that, but keep the knees even. And then we'll travel that path of the knee, bending forward towards the chest, and then hold the thigh or the shin, just opening that knee up. Noticing that we're rotating that ball and socket. So keep that energy of the awareness and just rotate softly through the hip. Excellent. And then roll onto your belly again, where we're going to keep the head down on the mat. And if you feel free to take your arms into cactus or some version thereof, maybe with the palms and the fingers near the head. Point the tailbone down towards the floor. We're just going to do leg lifts here today. So we're getting a nice psoas lengthening. Inhale the right leg off the floor. You can go up as far as is comfortable for you. Just noticing that bow shape that we're making on that right side. Exhale that down. Top of the foot comes to the floor, and we switch to the other side. Inhale up, exhale down, alternate. And the feet come together here. So we're just connecting that ceiling in the feet. Feel free to make a pillow for the forehead with your hands. I do recommend staying with the forehead on the mat just to keep your spine nice and long and
even and balanced. And lift up again. Just alternate here with your breath. Part of keeping that balance is strengthening the whole stack of our body, right? So we're starting with the feet, up the legs, the glutes, the hips, the ribs, the shoulders, and the head. And don't forget the neck. And then come on back down. We're going to roll over onto the back so we can take a nice therapeutic bridge. Take those feet to the floor, knees hip width apart, spread the toes again. It always is wonderful. I'm having a little foot injury, so I'm extra giving myself that reminder to spread the toes. Let's take the arms next to the body and take the fingertips to the back of the heels. So we're going to roll the shoulders here away from that midline. So we've got the nice horizontal line. Inhale, exhale, draw the shoulders down towards the floor. So we're rolling that ball and socket down towards the floor. And then lift the hips up. So we take a bridge, sternum towards the chin. Keep your eyes up on the sky. And just press through your arms, arching through the spine and then curling down to the floor, making a nice spine curl, and then place the sacrum down. Press through the feet, curl up. This time, reach the arms up to the sky and above the head. Exhale, reach up to the sky and just drift down, spine to the floor. Lift up, noticing again that awareness of the shape of the spine. Clasp the fingers underneath the sacrum, and you'll really notice the roll here of the shoulders away from that midline. Expanding our breath. Exhale, release the fingertips and curl down. Now let's roll back onto the belly, and we're going to take our bow pose or practice toward bow pose. So we're going to reach the arms and they're the full length of the body reaching towards the base of the mat, right? And we're going to lift up the arms off the mat as they're reaching the fingertips towards the heels. So they're just rolling the shoulders this time upward towards the sky. Lift the head off the mat. So now we've got the arms lifted and the head lifted. And then let's drift back down to the mat on our exhale, just so we're prepping here. When we come back up next time, we're going to bend the knees and the soles of the feet towards the sky, and then reach up with your arms towards the heels. You're probably not going to reach your heels, but see if you can point that tailbone and just lengthen up into a curled up spine. If that hurts your lower back, just don't go up as far. Exhale down. Rest here for a cycle of breath. Right side, left side. Sigh it all out. And then peel up. Let's bend the legs first. Inhale, arms behind you. And let's see, maybe you find the heels or the toes, but again, no pressure here to over effort. This is just a good one for the psoas. Exhale down, one ear to the mat. Sway the hips side to side. Coming back into the breath, feeling the awareness of the front body in particular, the contact with the earth, the shoulders going in that opposite direction towards the midline this time. Fill the body with breath. And sigh it out. Make it audible if you'd like. Excellent. Take the forehead to the mat, and we'll take the hands next to the shoulders. Ease yourself up, maybe through a knee plank if you'd like, up towards a child's pose. Very briefly, we're just going to come towards child's pose so we can transition to our all fours. I'm going to take that blanket and make a cushion. We definitely want to use a blanket cushion today. It's very, there's a lot of shin
anchoring in today's practice. So definitely get that cushion beneath you. Set that up so that the shins are your anchor. And we've got the kneecaps, those precious kneecaps spilling over the edge of the blanket, not touching the floor. So they're protected. Let's take the full width of our fingertips and really spread out that surface and find that evenness between the shins. Take the tops of the feet to the mat and just feel that extra contact there, and roll the shoulders away from the ears as if you're squeezing a rolled up magazine under those armpits. Ooh, now we've got the big muscles engaged. So lovely to have that engaged. Beautiful. Let's take our right leg and reach it back so that we're curling the back toes under, and then just rock forward and back, getting a nice stretch in that Achilles tendon back there. Great. And all the while, see if you can imagine balancing your favorite beverage on your sacrum. And then lift the right leg up in a nice long line with the shoulders. So keeping that squared off hips. And then take the left arm up, make a long diagonal line between the fingertips and the toes, or really the bottom of the foot. Point the toes on that right foot and then flex the toes, flex the feet. Come on down. The right toes come down in that flex position, and we're going to trace a line towards the left. So we're getting a nice side bend on the right here as we trace that line, and then look over at your over your left shoulder, back at your right toes, and feel the expansion of the right ribs. And then come on back, look towards the floor and draw the right knee back. Let's curl the left toes under, lengthen out that leg, and come back and forth. The hamstrings all the way down to the heel. Good for the feet too. And then even out those hips, balance that beverage, and then lift the left leg off the floor. Inhale the right arm next to right ear. Find the diagonal. Exhale. Feel the toning of the navel towards the spine as you exhale. Ease the right hand down, left toes, and then we'll trace that long line across the center line. And then lean, if you can, look back at the left toes. And bring your awareness to the left ribs, noticing this is a great stretch for that area. And then trace that line back to our wonderful balance and come on back down. Beautiful. And then if you want to take evenness between those shins, let's come on up to a high kneeling position. Bring the hands to the base of the spine. Use this self-massage to just glide those fingertips towards the heels. And notice you're guiding the tailbone down and toning the glutes, lifting the heart as the elbows come behind you. Notice the breath. On your next exhale, let's take those palms and then point the fingertips down and then look up towards the sky with the heart and your eyes. Celebrating our sky above us. And then come on back to vertical. Beautiful. And we're going to take a balance here on our shins. So we balance in the feet too. They take some pressure, but in this one, we've got the shins as our anchor. So let's take the hands to the hips and try to keep the hips, this is a challenge, as even as possible as you draw the right knee forward and the right foot on the floor for a lunge. So there you go. And you're going to flex that right thigh to the torso and draw the energy between that right foot and the back shin. Beautiful. So this is an awesome side stretch as we take the arms to the sky. Reach up evenly as you drop that right hip down towards the floor, pressing through your left foot. See what happens when you press through the left foot. It wakes up that left side, and now we're going to lean over towards the left. Feel free to bring the hands together, steeple hands, or grab one wrist. Really lengthen out that left side, leaning the head as well, softening the right ear toward right shoulder, since we can do our neck sequence so much today. Inhale, expand the breath. Exhale, rise up, keeping that length in your spine. Hinge at that front hip and put the hands in prayer position. Draw the thumbs towards the third eye as you lean forward. We're going to come into a twist, giving you a little heads up. Then the hands come to in front of the heart, and we're just going to twist the ribs and the neck and the face towards the right knee, keeping everything in the base steady. And you can feel free to look behind you, but again, keeping things nice and on the mid and upper back. Reaching up again, beautiful. Swan dive around your front foot. Great. And we're going to curl the back toes under here, and we'll get to the other side after the full long sequence. So we're lifting the knee up, and we're in a high lunge. And from here, use your back foot anchor to sweep the right foot back into down dog. So we're transitioning from that lunge to a down dog. Reach back, bend the knees if you want to, pedal the feet. Since we're focusing on balance, let's spread the toes. We can get on those tiptoes and then allow the heels to drop towards the floor evenly as you push away with your hands, lengthening the spine. Don't feel you have to go all the way down to the floor. Just you can come up and down because your hamstrings are just getting that message slowly to release, not any rush. Release with the breath. Relax the neck. Great. Now we're going to walk the feet forward to the hands, to the top of the mat. Keep the knees bent, ribs on the thighs. Thumbs to elbow creases, and just feel the evenness between the feet. Spread the toes. So now we get that neck release. Hang the head down, a little bit of traction there. Nod yes and no. Yeah, great. And then we're going to hinge, take the fingertips to the floor, hinge into a flat back. Exhale, come on up to standing to mountain pose, where we're going to find, since we're up here and we can take care of removing that blanket cushion for a moment, let's do that and come back to the top of the mat. Great. So we had our right foot forward, but first let's even out between the 2 feet. Take the hands to the hips and just feel that. Remember those hip points. Let's see if you can take your thumbs to the back of the pelvis and just point that tailbone down. Guide the tailbone towards the floor. Great. Engage those glutes, 30% or so. Notice the rising up through the spine, and then take the hands to the low ribs. And let's tuck in the low ribs while we keep the heart tall. Drop the arms next to the body. Third eye, nice and focused, and the actual eyes focused on a still point. So let's even out the sides right to left before we go to single leg. Drop the shoulders away from the ears, look right to left, feeling that hinging at the top of the spine. Look forward, and then up at the sky. Inhale, exhale, tuck the chin in. Looking down, maybe you see the toes or your heart space. And then look up, aligning the back of the skull with the sacrum. Oh, wow, we're so solid. So now we can transition to a single leg. So we're going to transition to the balancing stick or warrior 3. And then we're going to reach back to the back of the mat. So let's inhale the arms above the head. We can get that even length from both sides. And then we're going to draw the right leg back as we lean forward towards our balancing stick, really feeling that tower on the left side. If by any chance you didn't get all of that awareness as you went back, you can just come back to mountain pose, strengthen that left tower, and then lean forward. Let's really feel this connection between the fingertips and those back heel as you flex that right foot. And keep everything active. Hips even, that's a big challenge, keeping the hips even here. Sweep the arms out, wingspan next to the body. And then we're going to tiptoe back. So reach the right toes back and then just lean back, bring the weight to the right foot. Great. And we're going to step back and now take the hands to your hips. So we're going to take this and turn it into an open hip. So guide your hip points and watch that back foot forward towards the front of the mat. So we're going to come into that warrior two stance. So now we've guided our hips and our back foot's angled, and the left foot in this case is in that heel to back arch position. Great. So now you guide those hips forward. Inhale, let's grow the spine out of that beautiful pelvis, lotus of the pelvis. Exhale, bend the left knee. We're going towards a side angle pose. Adjust that right foot as you drop the hips down. So we're taking our slow path upward, just changing up our base. Inhale, grow the spine out long. Exhale, lean over to the left. If you have a block nearby and you want to have that nearby, you can do that. Bend the knee, take the elbow on the left side to the left thigh. Reach along with that hand on the right hip. Just feel the length on both sides. This is where the right and the left come into play. Look down at your left toes. The middle two toes, are they aligned with your knee? Make sure that's happening. Gently press the elbow into the thigh and the thigh into the elbow. And then notice that wakes up the channel of energy towards the other side. Take your right thumb to your right armpit, lengthen that right side, and then lean your right arm, reach your right arm next to right ear. Inhale, feel that expansion. Exhale, find your root, your feet. And then sweep the right arm up towards the sky as we come to parallel feet in front. Inhale, hands on that hinge at the top of the thighs and come into a flat back, exhaling down, hands to the floor. Great. Feel the reach, that horizontal reach of our spine. Exhale, you can drop the head again, bend the elbows towards the mat and just feel that drop, expansion across those hip adductors, inner thighs. Come up slightly and you're going to slightly bend your knees and heel toe inward. And then come down to a figure four. Sorry, that's not a figure four. Come down to tabletop, facing this way on the mat. Sorry about that, folks. And then take your blanket and cushion those knees. We'll take a path towards the other side. So find your comfortable all fours here. We're going to do a cat-cow, facing with the length of the mat around either side. Inhale into cat, drop the head. Exhale into cow. Travel with your spine and the breath together. And now find that neutral spine and let's lean left to right. So we've got also leaning our ear towards shoulder, getting a little neck stretch. Side to side. Come back to that even spine. Lift the right arm next to you horizontally. Look at that right hand, and we're just going to do an active twisted cat. So take the right hand and thread it under your left armpit and look towards the left. With your head, sweep it open, thread it under again, open, and thread it under. And then bring it back down to a nice strong base. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale, thread that under right arm. And watch the hand. So we get another neck rotation. Great. Come on back to our base. And then slide the hips back towards the heels. And we're going to take this to the other side. And let's see, I'm going to face the other direction just to make it fun. So face the other direction on your mat. This time in our all fours, cushion the knees. This time in our all fours, let's bring the forearms down. So we're going to do our thoracic puff here. I like to call this because it's the thoracic spine focus. Hands on the floor. Inhale, separate the shoulder blades. Exhale, heart towards the floor, separate the shoulder blades together. Notice this is not the head lifting or the lower back arching, just that mid back up and down. Excellent. Let's come on back to all fours and then transition to that high kneel that we did on the other side. Hands to base of the spine. Let's open those elbows behind you and just feel that opening across the collarbones, across shining the heart forward. And then come back to neutral. Exhaling. Inhaling. Let's look up this time if we can. Feeling that flexion in the neck. Opening that energy of the heart towards the sky and the throat. And then we'll come back to neutral. Take the hands to the hips. Feel that evenness. See if you can balance on those shins and the top of the foot. Inhale, we're going to take that left foot forward and bending that left knee. So here we go to the other side. And dropping our left hip down. Inhale the arms above the head, pressing the right foot into the floor for that extra energy. Feeling the length of both sides here. Now we'll take it to the other side. Feel free to grab your right wrist or take it into steeple hands and lean on over towards your left, noticing you're really aligning that knee in front with those two middle toes. Whoosh, what a lengthener here on the right side. Expand into that rib cage on the side. Exhale. Release it. Come on back up, separate the hands, and then reach forward. So we're hinging at the left hip, just feeling the length of the spine here before we go into prayer position. Trace the line down the center of the body towards the heart. And then we're going to take that lovely twist towards the left knee, keeping that prayer position at the heart and the hips nice and squared off. Challenge, definitely. Feel free to gaze behind you. Squeeze it out, exhale. Excellent. Come on back to our center. Sweep the hands around the left foot. And then we can sweep back to our down dog. Oh, we were going to go into a high lunge, so sorry about that. Either way, let's take a lunge and then sweep that foot back to down dog. We're taking the same sequence, just taking it to the other side. So this is that second downward dog. So feel the lift of your heels and then coming down towards the floor. Sigh it out. So if your hamstrings are speaking to you, just try to sigh that out audibly. Really help.
walk forward over your blanket towards your hands. You can move that blanket while you're at it. Come towards the other top of your mat. Hang the head down. Ribs to thighs. We'll take another release here. Take the thumbs to the elbow creases. Take the fingertips to the mat. Ease up into a flat back through your inhale. Exhale. Take the hands to those hip points and guide yourself up to standing. And here we are at the top of the mat again. Maybe you're familiar more with those landmarks of keeping that strong balance through both feet, sending energy between them so they can draw more into that center. Beautiful. Hands on the hips there. And then we'll take our balance onto the right side this time. Inhale the arms above the head. Exhale, draw that energy to the right side. Nice strong tower there. And then draw the left leg back as we keep the long line, foot all the way to the fingertips. Just notice things happening, breath. Feel free to come back up if you need to re-engage that center line. I'm going to come back to it and then sweep the wingspan out, hands to hips, tiptoe the left toe back, left toes back towards the back of the mat, ease that front knee, take the hands to the hips, and now we're going to turn the hips towards the front of the mat as we carefully step the left foot more in line with the right. So we're making that shift through the hips and keeping our knees nice and aligned. So the right toes are towards the top of the mat and the left toes this time are lined up, left arches lined up with the front right heel. Inhale, let's guide those hips forward. Exhale, let's drop the hips as we adjust that left foot towards our side angle pose. And from that lengthening place, we're going to lean over evenly on both sides to bring the right elbow to the left thigh. So here's our balance. We're off kilter in a way, but we're drawing the energy between the feet, between the foundation. Take the gaze over at those toes, making sure the knee is aligned, and then take the elbow to the thigh, thigh to the elbow, and then draw it a little deeper. Inhale the left arm next to left ear. Again, another foot to fingertip connection. Beautiful. And then sweep the left arm up, straighten the right leg. Here we are, parallel feet again. This time, inhale up towards the sky. Exhale, draw that line down through and exhale. Let's do that again with the rhythm of the breath. Welcome the breath in with your hands delicately down towards the heart. And then allow the spine to hinge and drop towards the floor. Take the hands to the floor. We're going to lift up slightly and walk the feet towards each other, coming down onto the mat, briefly kneeling position. So I'm going to show modified gate pose, which is a delicious side bend. And we're going to give you the option to do gate pose as well, full gate. So full gate is up on the high kneel, and then you can take your foot out to the side like this and keeping the sides even. Since I'm just having a foot issue, I just want to be kind to that. So I'm taking it lower. We're taking modified, but you're welcome to do this in this way with the feet like this, or come with me to the base here. So I'm taking a side sit. This is modified gait onto the edge of that blanket, bringing the left knee, left leg folded in front and the right leg to the side.
or you can stay in your high kneel. Sorry about that, folks. I just am trying to nurture that foot and all of that action over there. So take the fingertips beside you, bring that awareness to our sits bones as our connection and root, and noticing which side is lower and adjusting towards that lower side with the blanket. Inhale, just feel the length of the spine growing out of those hip joints, really lifting up that against gravity. And then exhale, let's use gravity to our benefit by walking the left fingertips out and lifting the right arm up towards the sky and descending towards the earth. If you're in our full gait, you're in that high kneel, your right leg's out to the side, and you're taking the same side shape, just using that left hand as your anchor with a straight arm. Anchor your right hip if you're down on the floor with me here, and really take your right palm and point it towards the back of your room. So we rotate that the right shoulder. If you are in full gait, you can just really point that tailbone towards the heels, the bottom heel there, the right heel. And then sweep that right arm up towards the sky. This is where we take the counter side stretch. Take the right hand down to the floor and then lean over, or your right hand on the thigh and lean over towards your right, lengthening the other side, and then sweep it back up. If you're in full gait, come back to that high kneel, or if you're down here with me, take your opposite. So we're going to take the right knee folded in front, left knee on the side. Maybe you notice your hips are different on this side. That's perfectly the norm. Great. Let's find our base nice and even. Fingertips beside you. Inhale up. Exhale. Let's walk the right hand out to the side. Really feel that reach, and then reach that right arm next to right ear. So this is similar to that reach we were doing high up there. Our side angle. I'm just getting more, in this case, more of a hip stretch. And in full gait, the left foot's out, left leg is out. And we're really lengthening through the leg. And sweep that left arm up towards the sky. So nice. Why don't I throw a little twist, and then we'll do the twist to the other side. Walk the fingertips around a circle. Oh, I forgot the counter tick-tock to the other side, to the left. Lift up, fingertips to the floor. Let's take a twist towards the right. Optimizing our position here. Look over your right shoulder. Come back to center. Let's switch to the other side so that we can take that twist, get that evenness, right? And we'll take the fingertips beside us and then draw that circle around. Rib cage and sternum towards the left knee. Maybe gaze over the left shoulder. Oh, should feel delicious. And then come on back. Beautiful. Feel some freedom in the hips, the whole spine, more awake. Fabulous. Let's move the blanket aside as we slide down to our sides. And then we'll go on to the back, bending the knees. Very nice. We're going to inhale the left knee towards the face and circle the ankle of that foot, of that leg, in two directions. Now, transitioning towards a figure four, let's take the left ankle to the right thigh. But while we're at it, let's massage the calves. So that's that nice muscular complex on the back of the shin there. So feel free to squeeze and massage with the fingertips along that calf towards the Achilles, towards the ankle. It feels so great. We don't often get access to this. We're sitting down. So every once in a while when you're sitting, just send some warmth there with the fingertips. Maybe there's some tight points. Gotta get in there. Oh, okay. And then while we're here, we can take the left hand to the left thigh, take your right hand to the edge to against that right foot and just press into your hand. So we're keeping the left hand pressing gently on the left thigh and then the right hand pressing into the right foot. And feeling everything drawing towards the center here. And then take your right hand and just gently massage, or if you can reach over with your left, massage the foot a little bit, bottom of the foot, spread the toes. And then that left foot finds flexion again. We're going to take our mind's eye to the base of the spine, to the sacrum. And let's see if we can even that out. Hips, as we press the sacrum gently into the mat, the hips even. Press through your right foot. And then just allow the arms to drape here as you press into the right foot and wake up the balance between the hips. Inhale the right thigh towards you if you can. And hold the base underneath the thigh. Keep the right foot active, nice and flexed. And if you feel so inclined, you can just rock side to side, keeping the foot and knee nice and aligned. Encouraging some opening, maybe tiny little circles too. Great. And then ease that right foot down to the floor. We're going to take a figure 4 twist. So I know that we're in a balance theme. So let's take things off the center by pretzeling ourselves. If you want to go into a regular twist, you can do that. Or you can take this figure 4 and turn it over on our right side. Left foot comes down to the floor. Grab with your right hand on that ankle, that left ankle. Find your nice aligned side here, taking the left knee towards the back of the mat. And the left hand comes to the heart, elbow to the sky, and we open up the ribs, the sternum, the throat up to the sky, reaching out with your left hand. And finding your breath again. Just noticing the right and the left, though they're definitely in a twisted position. See if you can breathe into that right and exhale out the left and inhale the left. Breathe out the right. Press the elbow on the right side into the floor and see if you can encourage the twist. Allow a surrender through the back body. Excellent. Now we can roll over onto the right side, transition to the other side, unwind, right knee towards the chest, circle the ankle. One direction to the other, right ankle to left thigh. Let's not forget this calf on this side. So just squeeze along the calf down towards the ankle. Achilles, tender spots. Right hand to right thigh, left hand to the base of that right foot. And just gently press all of these surfaces into each other to even out the hips, left fingertips, left thumb, massaging the bottom of the right foot a little bit, spreading the toes, appreciating the balance that we get from these feet. And then allow the arms to drape next to the body. Press through your left foot into the floor, evening out the hips, and then reach for the left thigh. Dropping that surrender into the right hip. Gently rock, maybe tiny little circles or up and down. Hold for a couple more breaths to greet any resistance points and have a slow approach. That sacrum is nice and planted on the mat. And then we'll take the left foot down and turn this into a twist as we roll onto the left side, or you can just take that traditional twist. I'm going to show you the back here just so you can see my back leg. I've got the knee pointing towards the bottom of the mat and the foot towards the back of my mat. Left hand to right ankle. On our sides, take the right hand to the heart, elbow to the sky, open up, gaze at the sky with your heart and your eyes. Right arm out to the side, nice and long. Maybe you can gaze over your right fingertips. Pressing the left elbow into the earth, lift up and see if the twist wants to go a little bit more. Come back to that parity of breath. So inhaling in the right nostril, exhaling out the left. In the left out of the right. Noticing the connection with the spine, the coiling of the spine. And then sweep that right arm up towards the sky, come onto our side. Coming back to figure four and doing the unwind here. One leg on the mat long, and then the other coming back to the fingertips on the hip points. Let's massage the outside of those hip points again. And then we can take those same fingertips inward towards the navel. And we found that other connection with our psoas, draw the line up the body towards the ribs. Gentle palpation with the fingertips. Lengthen that muscle that lengthens our torso. Beautiful. And then one arm down to the floor and then the other, palm up towards the sky, flop the feet out to the side. Elbows into the floor and just lift the sternum, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And then surrender. Sigh it out. As we enter the most important pose to seal in our practice, to allow the body to accept the changes we've made in our brain-body connection, Shavasana. Can you give yourself buoyancy and rootedness with your breath? Gaining this balance with the body. Maybe it's balanced our mind to move forward positively through our wisdom of the third eye, intuition. Equanimity of our mind, body, and spirit at all times that we need it. Deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bend the elbows and the knees. rolling onto the right side. Pressing into the floor. With your hands, guide yourself up to a lovely, even seated position. Inhale the arms above the head. Trace the line on your exhale, past the third eye to the heart directly. Thank you so much for joining me in the practice today, everyone. Namaste.